Welcome to NTD News Today. Here are today's top stories. President-elect Trump hosts a Thanksgiving dinner at his Mar-a-Lago estate. Among the guests, Elon Musk. Black Friday is kicking off Thanksgiving weekend shopping with over 130 million people planning to shop in-store or online. We hear from New Yorkers about their shopping plans. At least 6 Democratic lawmakers say they were threatened with bomb threats while celebrating Thanksgiving with their families. What we know so far. British lawmakers voted in favor of assisted dying today. More on the bill that allows terminally ill adults to end their lives. The Notre Cathedral in Paris will reopen its doors next week. President Emmanuel Macron was one of the first to catch a sneak peek at the amazing restoration work. And on the gridiron, the Kansas City Chiefs get another playmaker back as they seek a third straight Super Bowl title. Will it be enough? NTD's Dave Martin joins us to weigh in.
This is NTD News Today, live from our global headquarters in New York City.
Today is Friday, November 29th. I'm Kevin Hogan. Our lead story today, President-elect Trump celebrated Thanksgiving at Mar-a-Lago with family, friends, and Elon Musk. The festive bash featured dancing to Trump's go-to song, YMCA. Trump's son, Barron, watched with amusement as the fun unfolded. Joining the celebration were Melania, Eric, Tiffany, and other family members. Musk's mother, May, was also in attendance. The Tesla CEO shared laughs with Sylvester Stallone, a frequent Mar-a-Lago guest. Stallone recently referred to Trump as the second George Washington. Musk's growing presence at Mar-a-Lago sparked chatter on social media. One fan joked, "Elon has become part of the family." The bond reflects Musk's key role in Trump's recent campaign win. He's now co-chairing the new Department of Government Efficiency. Trump says the effort will slash unnecessary government regulations. And President Biden is hoping President-elect Trump will not go ahead and impose tariffs against Canada and Mexico. Biden spoke with reporters yesterday in Nantucket, Massachusetts, where he voiced his concerns. Here are the details.
President Biden on Thursday cautioned against imposing tariffs against the United States' two neighbors. This comes after President-elect Trump announced plans for a 25% tariff on all imported goods from Mexico and Canada. Trump blamed the two countries for the flow of fentanyl and illegal immigrants into the U.S. But Biden said the last thing the incoming administration needs to do is spoil its relationship with the two countries.
I hope he rethinks it. I think it's a counterproductive thing to do. We have an unusual situation in America. We're surrounded by the Pacific Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, and two allies, Mexico and Canada. And the last thing we need to do is begin to screw up those relationships.
On Wednesday, Trump wrote that Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum agreed to stop unauthorized migration across the border into the United States.
He raised the issue of migration on their southern border, our northern border, and the issue of fentanyl because those are two issues that he's concerned about. And that was the argument, let's say, for introducing the tariffs.
Sheinbaum confirmed that the most recent migrant caravan would be taken care of before it reaches the border. But whether that was a promise, a pledge, or a simple statement of reality remains unclear. And a Canadian government minister told media Thursday the new Trump administration needs to understand how much the U.S. depends on Canadian oil. Some analysts have warned tariffs on Canada could drive up oil prices in the U.S.
At least 6 Democratic lawmakers from Connecticut say they received bomb threats on Thanksgiving, including Senator Chris Murphy and Representatives Joe Courtney, Jahana Hayes, and Jim Hines. All 4 issued statements saying they were targeted. Law enforcement looked into each threat and said there was no evidence of a bomb. Officials have previously said these threats often come from people overseas looking to draw attention. It came roughly 24 hours after similar threats were made against some of President-elect Trump's cabinet and administration picks. The FBI said it's working with other law enforcement to investigate these threats. And a group of pro-Palestinian demonstrators briefly halted the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade before the NYPD swooped in to clear the route in Manhattan. A line of about 20 protesters sat in the street under a steady rain while others behind them held up a banner saying "Don't Celebrate Genocide," and "Arms Embargo Now." The New York Police Department said the demonstrators were taken into custody without incident. Philadelphia celebrated a cherished tradition Thursday with the 105th annual Thanksgiving Day Parade, the nation's oldest. NTD's Daniel Monahan has the highlights.
Thousands lined the streets of Center City. They cheered as more than 20 vibrant floats and over a dozen giant balloons made their way up the Ben Franklin Parkway to the Philadelphia Museum of Art. It took about 19,000 cubic feet of helium to fill the balloons. The rain couldn't dampen visitors' spirits.
It's a little wet, it's a little cold, but we come here every year, so we had to keep the tradition going.
You can see the weather's not the best, but everybody's still out here having a good time. Nobody really cares who's doing what or who is who. They're just here enjoying it, and we're going through it together.
It just seems like everybody's so happy on parade day. Even people who are sitting in the rain, everyone's happy, everyone's supportive of all the acts and the high schools and the bands that come.
I told people to come on out. It's not raining out here. Let's go, people. Get out of that bed and come to the parade. Support us. Wake up, Philadelphia. It's Turkey Day.
An aunt and her niece discussed their favorite attractions at the parade.
I don't know, probably the one with the Abbott Elementary teacher.
Why?
Because I like her.
I like Bumble from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the balloon. So yeah, he's my favorite.
And the meaning of Thanksgiving.
Spending time with family and being thankful for all the people in my life.
Same tradition and just being very grateful for our many blessings and enjoying life.
A father and daughter also talk about the meaning of Thanksgiving.
Family and being able to be with the people I love this Thanksgiving.
Yeah, same. Spending time with the family and people you love.
As does a young mom.
I feel thankful for most things. For my family, for being able to be here, for the parade.
Young Milena was very impressed with the parade.
I like it a lot. Yeah, it's good.
This Ukrainian couple reflect on Thanksgiving.
To pause my life and think of all the little things are there. We always rushing, want more, we want something better, but this is the day I pause and look back and see all the things I've achieved, all the things I have, and just be thankful for them.
Appreciating all the small things you have in life, appreciating the people you are with, and appreciating all the good stuff you have.
Parade highlights included dazzling performances from Darlene Love, the Sugar Hill Gang, and Matteo Bocelli, alongside appearances by stars like Carson Kressley and Lisa Ann Walter. Despite the rain, 3,000 dedicated performers delivered a show-stopping spectacle. Daniel Monahan, NTD News.
Stay with us. Black Friday is set to lead the way for Thanksgiving weekend shopping, with more than 130 million people planning to shop in-store or online. We hear from New Yorkers about their shopping plans. Post-Thanksgiving travel looks clear, but not trouble-free. We take a look at potential problem areas like lake effect snow and possible road delays. That's coming up.
As we naturally age, many people are getting zero amount of this incredible and unique substance. That's when we start seeing an impact in our joints, skin, nails, and even our digestion.
People ask me, Dr. X, what is the #1 supplement I should be taking? My answer is multi-collagen protein.
People's reactions to me, people were like, what are you doing? What is going on? You look amazing. You have a glow about you.
What makes Ancient Nutrition Multi-Collagen stand out from other brands? 10 types of collagen. It's grass-fed, pasture-raised with vitamin C and probiotics. It's proven to reduce joint discomfort rapidly, continuously, and persistently. It improves the appearance of crow's feet after 4 weeks and improves skin tone after 8 weeks. And it promotes hair thickness, growth, and a reduction in hair breakage.
It has transformed everything from my hair. Like, my hair was starting to kind of just, come out, and I don't have that anymore. My skin feels amazing.
Call the number on your screen and find out how to get a free bottle when you order, plus free shipping and our 30-day money-back guarantee. And as a bonus, we will include Dr. Josh Axe and Jordan Rubin's revolutionary book, Multi-Collagen Makeover, free with your order, plus free shipping and free returns.
I have implicit trust in Dr. Axe because the plan worked. I'm living proof of it.
This is the collagen protein that is backed by clinical studies. It's what my family uses, it's what I use, and I know you're going to benefit in a big way as well.
Love the results or get your money back. This special TV offer is not available in stores. Call the number on your screen or go online now.
Tired of scrolling Netflix? Trying to find something that's worth watching? Want to skip the censorship in mainstream media? Well, now you can with Epic TV. New exclusive content every day with over 100 never-before-seen movies, films, and documentaries. Available and streaming now at your fingertips. For a limited time now, you can get 60% off Epic TV by subscribing or upgrading to a yearly plan. Plus, get an additional $10 credit to rent featured movies on Epic Cinema today. Skip mainstream narratives and find quality family entertainment from the comfort of your very own home. Say no to big tech and subscribe to Epic TV.
Welcome back. Today is Black Friday, one of the biggest days of the year for retailers. The day after Thanksgiving has traditionally been the unofficial kickoff to the holiday shopping season, but it's not like it used to be. Many holiday deals now start as early as Halloween. Still, the National Retail Federation says a record 183 million people are planning to shop in-store and online between Thanksgiving and Cyber Monday this year. And Black Friday is expected to be the most popular day to shop. Despite the convenience and ease of online shopping, about 2/3 of Black Friday shoppers surveyed plan to shop in stores today. This year, holiday spending is expected to hit a record of nearly $1 trillion. Amazon workers are planning a worldwide strike during one of the company's biggest weekends, Black Friday to Cyber Monday. The strike is called Make Amazon Pay and is organized by UNI Global Union and Progressive International. The strike seeks to hold Amazon accountable for what the organizers call environmental degradation and threats to democracy. Amazon said in a statement that the group is intentionally misleading and continues to promote a false narrative. The union says this will be their 5th year of protesting, and thousands of demonstrators in more than 20 countries are planning to take part. And joining us now live is Don Ma to give us the latest on Black Friday deals. Don, what do you have for us?
So I'm out here in front of Macy's department store, and there's a good reason for that. According to data website Wallet Hub, it's the top 3 places to shop this Black Friday. Number 1 being JCPenney and Costco being the worst. And earlier I spoke to some shoppers about what they're looking for this holiday season. Take a look. Where are you from?
I'm from Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Why are you here today? For Black Friday?
Actually, we came for the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, but we're going to go tour Yankee Stadium today and then come back and do some shopping.
What kind of deals are you looking for? Any specific items in mind?
Oh my gosh, anything. Purses, jewelry, anything. Clothes. I like it all.
What did you guys buy today?
A whole lot of bags.
That's what I came for, was the bags.
Bags, jeans, just a whole lot of money spent.
So how much did you spend? Were you over budget or within your budget?
I would say within budget. I was expecting to go a little crazy, but
about $400-500. Yeah. So not too bad.
Do you prefer shopping online or do you prefer shopping in store?
A bit of both. I like to see it sometimes in the shop, but I do like shopping online because you can get extra discount.
Did you get a good deal?
Such a good deal. Yeah. We probably paid, I would say, 60% off everything we purchased.
Do you have a favorite store?
Ooh, the Louis Vuitton store. I mean, you can't go wrong with the big Louis Vuitton suitcase on 5th Avenue.
Was there a huge rush when the doors opened?
Yeah,
Everybody
it was.
just flew in.
It was a big run, and then people were running to get their $10 off cards. So I collected a good 5 or 6 of them, so I get a good discount. Aye.
Was it really competitive? How do you think you did?
It was good. You had to, She get the elbows out.
Yeah.
She's getting right on about it. So
We have a lot of practice of that.
Aye.
What's the number one thing that you have to get today?
Ooh. I have to get a purse. I have to get a purse.
Do you have a budget in mind?
Ooh. No budget. No budget.
As long as it's a good deal.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Why do you think is it that yesterday we're all about giving thanks and today we're all about competing with each other?
I don't know. It's just.
I think
that's
just like a deal.
Aye, that's the thing. People see how much money they're saving, they just go crazy.
Yeah.
But aye, I don't blame them because I just done the same.
Now, according to the National Retail Federation, about 65% of people are expected to show up in person to shop, and just today alone, expected to be $12 billion spent.
Wow, that's an excellent update from you, Don. It looks like the place is getting really crowded from when we spoke earlier this morning, and you got a lot of international people, so really great reporting. Thank you. And in Chicago, one of its most beloved holiday traditions reached its 90th anniversary. Spectators packed the streets yesterday to catch a glimpse of Chicago's own Thanksgiving parade. NTD's Sherry Ning has the story from the Windy City.
For many Chicagoans, coming to see the Thanksgiving parade has become a beloved family tradition.
I've been born and raised in Chicago, so we've been watching the turkey parade for a long, long time. Teddy the turkey is iconic, the belle of the ball for the Thanksgiving Day parade in Chicago. So we're honored to be able to escort it down State Street with 30 of our team members. We're so excited to be a part of it. It's really an honor, and we just couldn't be more excited to have this opportunity. We're really, really grateful, and I'm looking forward to eat some turkey after this.
While for others, the tradition is just beginning.
This is our first time coming with all 4. I want it to be a tradition. I want it to be. This is a lot of fun. So it's better than being home and making a turkey.
Ranked second best Thanksgiving parade in the nation, the Chicago Thanksgiving Parade also provides an opportunity for people to come together to tell the stories, especially about the many rich cultures and groups that make up the vibrant Chicago community.
The shirt is hand woven and the skirt is stitched, especially from a specialty from where my father is from Salcaja in Guatemala. It means a lot because, I've lived in Chicago my whole life, but I do have a lot of family and I do have a lot of friends back in Guate. So to be able to kind of represent them and carry them here in the United States is something that's special for me. It's cool to be able to experience things that, maybe I haven't seen before. And I really love being able to see things from other cultures, and I think it's really cool. I definitely feel like Chicago is very underrated. You can meet anyone from anywhere over here. Reporting from Chicago, Sherry Ning, NTD News.
And running off those holiday calories with a turkey trot, an annual tradition for many families. This year's race in Washington, D.C. saw a massive turnout. Despite the rainy skies, spirits stayed high. NTD's Melina Wisecup has the story.
A rainy Thanksgiving in Washington, D.C. didn't stop these turkey trotters from enjoying another year of Thanksgiving tradition.
This is much nicer weather than Houston, the humid, 90 degrees.
The paint was a little slippery, but other than that, the paint is kind of nice to cool you off. Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday. I make a special trip back from England for it most years, and it's just nice to be surrounded by a bunch of people that are happy and, take a break from everything else.
8,000 racers flooded the nation's capital, bringing festivity to Pennsylvania Avenue.
I had a couple kids take me down early. I got a couple names. I'll be back for you, Danny. Coming for you next year.
Plus, soaking in that much-needed friend and family time.
I do the turkey trot every year, so I thought it would be fun to run it with my cross-country friends.
We're going back to our parents' house to have a big dinner all together.
And for others, the fun is a chance to win. 17-year-old Zachary from Texas was the youngest among the top finishers, clocking in under 17 minutes at 16:39.
And just the first stretch, seeing the Capitol is just amazing. And this was a lot of fun. Yeah, so that last turn, I peeked back and I saw nobody over my shoulder, so I knew I had it. I was trying to kick it in the last maybe 50 meters just to look strong, but I'm still coming off an injury, so I'm very happy that this is what I could run.
Others find joy in the mission behind the race. The organization hosting this turkey trot is called SOME. It's the 23rd year, raising money to break the cycle of homelessness and poverty.
A lot of us just get stuck in the middle of the day, just doing our day-to-day work or our careers here. You kind of forget the bigger picture. And there's a lot of us out there who are very fortunate to do things like this. Like we have service members across the world who aren't with their families today. So being able to give back to the local food banks here, and then at the same time, remember those who can't be with their families today, just keeps things in perspective.
And at this race, children get their finishers' rewards too: swords, bows and arrows, and a new style to show off at their family's Thanksgiving mealtime. It's a day to show gratitude, a practice that one dad says he makes routine for his family.
Every day, at least 3 things that we're grateful for.
Happy Thanksgiving!
Happy Thanksgiving!
Reporting from Washington, D.C., Melina Weiskup, NTD News.
This Thanksgiving, there's no better time than now to express gratitude and count your blessings. NTD's Sam Wong was out in D.C. to find out what people are most grateful for.
What are you doing for Thanksgiving?
Just a dinner at my family's house.
We're seeing all the sights around the U.S.
Sightseeing. Washington, D.C., yeah, seeing all the sights that they've got to offer here.
What's your favorite part of the trip so far?
Being with my wife.
Coming to D.C. for the beginning of the week and then going back and seeing the rest of our family in Atlanta for the rest of the week. We came to D.C. to see who?
Granny and Lovey, that's our grandparent.
We're here to see my daughter and her husband and the grandbaby, and my daughters are coming down from Brooklyn.
Well, my Thanksgiving tradition, I usually try to travel to see friends or family during this time. I live in Chicago.
I'll be with family and enjoying, and then just a few other things, seeing some more of the city.
He's in 5th grade, and so 5th grade they study U.S. history, and so we wanted to bring him here so that he could really absorb the history of our great nation.
And what are you most thankful for this Thanksgiving?
My family. Seeing my family, spending time with my family, and just having a week off from work.
Freedom.
That's a good question. I'm most thankful for my family, that everyone's in good health. I'm able to travel to see them this year.
All in all, it's been a good year for all of my friends and all of my family. So I'm grateful for that.
I'm just thankful for my family and good health.
The same. Family, great health, just great to be living.
Grateful for family and our granddaughter.
My breast cancer didn't return. I'll take it.
Thank you for our health and hopefully better health.
Being alive. I've gone through some things and I'm healthy, and thank God for that.
I'm thankful to God 365 days a year, 24/7.
Migrants and homeless people enjoyed a free Thanksgiving meal offered by a local church in the Mexican border city of Juarez yesterday.
Today is a day to give thanks to God, because many of us have had a hard time with our children. We have suffered a lot on the train. We have traveled a lot. We have even run out of water.
The situation is simply difficult, and many of them do not have on this special day a plate of turkey. They are not able to share the table with their families.
The immigration authorities have not supported us. They have treated us badly. I'm thankful because they have given us a meal, as the Word of God says, right?
Many, for example, are here alone. Their family already crossed the border, or their family stayed back home. It is very sad, and we try to make this day more pleasant for them.
Post-Thanksgiving travel looks storm-free, but it's not without issues. Rain, snow, or wind could still cause delays in some areas. Today's trouble spots include lake-effect snow in the Great Lakes. Expect travel problems on parts of I-90 and I-81 in New York. Brisk, cold winds will chill the Midwest, while Florida sees showers. Tomorrow, snow continues in the Great Lakes and Central Plains. Light snow could slow travel in Kansas City or St. Louis airports. Sunday, heavy snow persists in snowbelt areas, causing road troubles. Most of the nation, though, stays dry and travel-friendly. A messy Thanksgiving storm brought rain, snow, and difficult travel conditions to New Hampshire on Thanksgiving. Vermont also got heavy snow, and some parts of the season's first snowflakes fell in Maine as well yesterday. The 2024 Atlantic hurricane season is coming to an end this weekend. This year, the Atlantic Ocean Basin saw 18 named storms. 11 were hurricanes and only 5 intensified to major hurricanes. In July, Hurricane Beryl was the earliest Atlantic Category 5 hurricane on record. Beryl was followed by Hurricane Helene that made landfall as a Category 5 storm on the Florida Gulf Coast in September. Then Hurricane Milton followed nearly 2 weeks later in October. Milton made landfall as a Category 3 near Siesta Key, Florida, and produced 46 tornadoes. The Atlantic hurricane season officially ends tomorrow. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration said the 2024 Atlantic seasonal activity finished within the predicted ranges for named storms and hurricanes. On average, a season produces 14 named storms, 7 hurricanes, and 3 major hurricanes. And stay with us, the U.S. ambassador to China condemning Beijing's sentencing of a state media journalist. More on how a lunch with a Japanese diplomat led to his arrest. And British lawmakers voted in favor of assisted dying today. More on the bill that allows terminally ill adults to end their lives when we come back.
Performance that truly matters for each and every one of us. This is what you've been waiting for. See it at least once in your lifetime. Shen Yun. Get tickets now at shenyun.com.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Legal Help Center. This is where we have professionals standing by to answer your questions regarding personal injury. So if you've been injured in an accident that was not your fault, like a car accident or a slip and fall, we can help. As a matter of fact, we are here to help. So take that first step and call the number on your screen right now. We have legal professionals standing by to answer your questions. They'll tell you if you have a case and how much your case is potentially worth. Thank you for joining us, everyone. I'm Gina Bellich, here with TV anchor and spokesman Tom Muston. So Tom, you've been in television for over 20 years. You've participated in a number of big events. Tell everyone watching at home what makes the Legal Help Center so special and what it means for you to be here with us in the studio.
Well, Gina, first let me thank you for having me join you here today. Now, as far as who should call in right now, the answer is anyone who's been injured in an accident that was not their fault, because when you give us a call, you're going to speak with a live person, not some automated greeting or computer message, but an actual person who's ready to help. You'll receive a free consultation. You can get all your questions answered, and more importantly, find out how much your case is potentially worth.
Now, this is a service to you, the viewers, offering you a free consultation and getting you access to legal help. So if you've been injured in an accident that was not your fault, or you know someone recently in an accident, give us a call right now. You'll speak with a live agent, not some automated greeting, but an actual person right now who's ready to help you.
Like Gina said, if you've been injured in an accident, like a car accident or a slip and fall, the team is available to help. So take that first step. We have agents available for you right now. We'll answer any questions you have, let you know how much your case is potentially worth. Take care, everyone, and thank you for watching.
Will radical lies determine your child's future, or will timeless truths? Fathom the Good equips children with wisdom against the world. Our homeschool curriculum teaches high schoolers to think critically. We provide primary texts, original content, reasoning tools, and mentoring videos to help them transform America. Teach your children to navigate the world's woke confusion. Teach them to fathom the good.
It's good to have you back with us. Here are some of the top headlines from around the world. In the Middle East, a terrorist organization launched an armed insurgency in Syria. On Wednesday, the terrorist group Hayat Tahrir al-Sham began taking over a dozen towns in northwest Syria, previously controlled by the government. The group claims to have entered the country's largest city, which had been in government hands since 2016. A UN official said the fighting over the past 3 days has killed at least 27 civilians, including children. Russia, which backs the Syrian government, launched airstrikes in the region to push back against the terrorists. This marks the worst violence between the Syrian government and terror groups since 2020. The Syrian military is also fighting the insurgency. A gunman opened fire today at an Israeli bus in the West Bank, injuring 8 people, 3 of them critically. Israel's military says the gunman targeted the bus near an Israeli settlement before being shot by Israeli troops. The suspect's identity is unclear. Attacks by terrorists on Israelis in the West Bank increased after the October 7th Hamas attacks. The Palestinian side also reports more incidents involving Israeli settlers targeting local residents. Also today, 40 people are reported dead in the Gaza Strip. Palestinian medics say Israel targeted areas in northern and central Gaza. There was no immediate comment from the Israeli army. And over to the Russia-Ukraine war, footage released on social media shows a Russian oil depot on fire. Ukraine's military says it struck the Atlas oil depot in the Rostov region, which caused the fire. Moscow yesterday launched its second major attack on Ukraine's energy infrastructure this month. The strikes caused power outages across the country. In a statement, President Biden criticized Russia for what he described as a horrific aerial attack. Biden says the attacks serve as a reminder to keep supporting Ukraine. The head of UK's Foreign Intelligence Agency made similar remarks today. He said it's crucial to keep aiding Kyiv because Russia might invade other countries if successful in Ukraine. The U.S. ambassador to China, Nicholas Burns, condemned Beijing's sentencing of a Chinese journalist today. This comes after a Beijing court sentenced veteran journalist Dong Yuyu to 7 years in prison. Dong worked for a Chinese state media, Guangming Daily. A family member told Reuters Dong was sentenced on espionage charges. According to a statement from the U.S. National Press Club, he was detained by police in Beijing in 2022 while having lunch with a Japanese diplomat. He was later charged with espionage. Dong has previously written opinion pieces in Chinese media on topics from legal reforms to social issues. He advocated for moderate reforms and avoided direct criticism of regime leader Xi Jinping. There was a heavy police presence outside the court where he was sentenced. At least 7 police cars parked nearby. British lawmakers today voted in favor of assisted dying. The bill just passed its first stage and faces more votes next year before it becomes law. It would mean mentally competent, terminally ill adults in England and Wales could choose to end their own lives. They must have 6 months or less to live, and they would have to be capable of taking the fatal drugs themselves. Those in favor of the bill argue it's about shortening the death of those who are terminally ill and giving them more control. Opponents are concerned it will cause some people to be coerced into dying, such as vulnerable, ill people who feel they are a burden to their families. General elections are taking place in Ireland today. The ruling party, called Fine Gael, is seeking an unprecedented 4th successive term in office. If poll numbers hold up, 2 of the 3 main parties will have to form a coalition government. The last election in 2020 produced similar results. Polls indicate a likely return of the center-right-led coalition without the country's left-wing party. Exit polls are expected to be released as voting ends at around 5 p.m. Eastern Time today. The numbers can give a first sense of the outcome. The main results are expected to come out over the weekend. Police clashed with protesters in the Georgian capital, Tbilisi, earlier today after the country's ruling party said the government would halt talks on its application to join the European Union.
Police clashed with pro-European Union protesters in the Georgian capital Tbilisi early on Friday. Demonstrations broke out overnight after the country's ruling party said Thursday it would suspend talks on joining the EU until 2028.
Of course we're upset. We're so angry. It's literally beyond embarrassing. What this government is doing to us, it's literally like, this is really...
Police ordered protesters to disperse, fired water cannons, and deployed pepper spray and tear gas as masked young people tried to smash their way into the parliament. Some protesters tossed fireworks at police while shouting Russians and slaves. Local media reported that protests erupted in several provincial cities as well. The country's figurehead president accused the government of declaring war on its own people. He asked riot police whether they served Georgia or neighboring Russia. Georgia has long been among the most pro-Western of the former Soviet states. Opinion polls show that around 80% of citizens support EU membership, and the aim of EU accession is written into the country's constitution. The bloc's flag flies alongside the national flag outside virtually all government buildings. However, Georgia's relations with the EU have deteriorated sharply in recent months, with Brussels alleging that the Georgian Dream governing bloc had adopted pro-Russian stands and pushed through bills that critics have called authoritarian, including curbs on LGBT rights and so-called foreign agents. Those moves led the EU to suspend Georgia's application for membership. Georgia Dream denies that it is pro-Russian and says it is committed to democracy and integration with the West. The party says it still wants to join the EU eventually, though it has, in recent years, deepened ties with Russia.
Australia's government approved a social media ban yesterday for kids under 16. The new law sets a benchmark as one of the world's toughest regulations targeting tech companies. Here's the story.
Those for the question say aye.
Social media will soon be banned for under 16-year-olds in Australia, after a new law sets a benchmark with one of the world's toughest regulations targeting big tech. It forces tech giants from Instagram and Facebook owner Meta to TikTok to stop minors from logging in or face fines of up to $32 million.
Platforms now have a social responsibility to ensure the safety of our kids is a priority for them.
A parliamentary inquiry this year heard evidence from parents of children who self-harm due to social media bullying. Ali Halkich is a father whose 17-year-old son took his own life in 2009 following social media bullying.
To be honest with you, I'm proud to be Australian today, and all the government and the politicians from both sides to unite on such a front.
16-year-old user Lam acknowledges its potential harm, but says it is deeply ingrained in society and the law will force young people to more dangerous parts of the internet.
With such a clear-cut ban, I believe that it will only create a generation of young people who will be more technologically literate in bypassing these walls.
The ban also faced opposition from privacy advocates and some child rights groups.
I don't think it's a good thing, really, because I think that it's not going to stop it, and also the government's taking control of things that it's parents' responsibility. Because parents are going to keep still using their social media, aren't they? And their kids are going to be watching them doing it. So what's the point, really?
But 77% of the population wanted it, according to latest polls.
Social media for kids is not really appropriate. Sometimes they can, have a look something that they shouldn't.
Speaking on behalf of social media platforms, Australia's Digital Industry Group Managing Director Sunita Bose said the bill was rushed through Parliament.
In some ways, it's cart before horse because we have the bill, but we don't have guidance from the Australian government around what are the right methods that a whole host of services subject to this law will need to employ.
In submissions, Google and Meta said the ban should be delayed until an age verification trial finishes, expected in mid-2025. The ban, considered a political win for the Australian Prime Minister for now, will be watched as a test case as a growing number of governments look to implement similar legislation.
The world's last Cold War frontier now has a Starbucks cafe in South Korea. Customers can get a glimpse through the heavily militarized border into the north, all while sipping a latte. An 80-year-old Vietnam War veteran said he felt he could look at North Korea with a bit more calm and peace of mind. Mayor of Gimpo City said he hopes the opening of the Starbucks could lead to more tourists visiting the area.
People used to think of this area near the North Korean border as a dark and gloomy place. But now that Starbucks, with its global marketing power, has opened here, this place could now become an important tourist destination for security and peace that can be seen as young, bright, and warm, as well as garnering global attention.
The world's last Cold War frontier has become an unlikely draw for foreign and local tourists, despite a spike in tensions in the Korean peninsula in recent years. The two Koreas are still technically at war after their 1950-53 war ended in an armistice, not a peace treaty. And stay with us. In the NFL, the Kansas City Chiefs get another playmaker back as they seek a third straight Super Bowl title. Will it be enough? NTD's Dave Martin joins us to weigh in. And the Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris will reopen its doors next week. President Emmanuel Macron was one of the first to catch a sneak peek at the amazing restoration work. Stay tuned for that.
ساعة راسي هذا الشباب في راح كثير رعب وطبعا هلا يعني أنا بحس بالرعب الكبير بدنا بس نعيش بأمان.
Conflict is raging across the world, and millions of children's lives are being devastated by war, hunger, disease, and poverty. We urgently need your help to reach children in crisis. Please call or go online to give just $10 a month, only 33 cents a day. We need 1,000 new monthly donors this month to help children in crisis around the world and right here at home. You can help us provide food, essentials, and life-saving medical care to children in the most need.
من حريتنا يعني بدنا نعيش زي كل الأطفال بدنا نعيش بحرية وأمان.
In the darkest times, children suffer the most. You can help by calling right now and giving just $10 a month. All we need are 1,000 monthly donors. Please call or go online now with your monthly gift of just $10. Thanks to generous government grants, every dollar you give can have up to 10 times the impact. And when you call with your credit card, we will send you this Save the Children tote bag as a thank you for your support.
وعيت على هاي الدنيا القصف والنزوح والصيمة. أتمنى نعود على بلادنا. شايف لك إنه هذا مستحيل.
Your small monthly donation of just $10 could be the reason a child in crisis survives. Show them they're not alone. Please call or go online to givetosave.org to help save lives.
Tired of scrolling Netflix? Trying to find something that's worth watching? Want to skip the censorship in mainstream media? Well, now you can with Epic TV. New exclusive content every day with over 100 never-before-seen movies, films, and documentaries. Available and streaming now at your fingertips. For a limited time now, you can get 60% off Epic TV by subscribing or upgrading to a yearly plan. Plus, get an additional $10 credit to rent featured movies on Epic Cinema today. Skip mainstream narratives and find quality family entertainment from the comfort of your very own home. Say no to big tech and subscribe to Epic TV.
And now for your sports news, we're joined by NTD's Dave Martin. Dave, a lot going on in the NFL right now. Let's start with the Chicago Bears. They're answering a lot of questions right now because of their clock management, mismanagement, whatever you want to call it. So at the end of the game yesterday, what happened?
You know, I think most of us who saw it knew the number one question they'd be asked is, why he didn't call timeout immediately when Caleb Williams got sacked there with like 30 seconds left. You know, they would have had at least time for 2 more plays because it was 3rd down at that point. And they needed 2 more plays because they really had to move up to get closer to a field goal. It was like a 60-yard field goal at that point. Maybe the question should have been why there wasn't more urgency to start that 3rd down play with at least 10 seconds left. Instead, they hiked it with 6 seconds remaining. The pass at the turf just as time ran out, and that was it. Everyone was kind of confused. They're like, wow, that was kind of weird ending. Meanwhile, they had a timeout they could have used to stop the clock. I can understand why they wanted to save it, though, because you need time to run your field goal out there. If the player gets tackled inbounds for a big gain, it doesn't matter because the clock is going to keep running. You have to somehow stop the clock, and you can only do it at the timeout there. But, you know, you have to get to that scenario first. I can understand, though, why it happened. It's easy to look back in retrospect and say you should have done that for sure. Now, Bears coach Matt Eberflus said afterwards they were saving their timeout to set up the field goal. It didn't work out that way. So anyway, Detroit holds on. They are now an NFL best 11-1.
I know, and it really is a game of inches, but I mean, it's a game of seconds too. You got to think about that. And then when Williams was launching that deep ball to Odunze, well, Odunze knew. He's like, the time's what it is, so I got to just make it to the end zone at this point.
Yeah, and the pass didn't go that far. You know, they weren't on quite the same page there because, you know, the quarterback is thinking, we've got to run a quick play so we can call timeout as soon as the guy catches the ball. He's got to go down and we can call timeout. He's thinking that. The receiver's thinking, we don't have enough time. I got to go to the end zone. So they're not really on the same page there at the end. It was tough because if you're a coach and you're looking there, as soon as he's sacked with 30 seconds left, you know, you're on the clock. Once you realize 10 seconds have gone off and we might not get this playoff, you hate to run a timeout because you're like, well, I just wasted 10 seconds there. It's such a tough call if you're actually on the field. It's easy to sit here and say, well, he should have called timeout as soon as he was sacked. But
yeah, Black Friday quarterback. Exactly right. Well, you know, they say, bear down Bears. I know.
There you go.
Yeah, well, you know, speaking of the best record in the NFL, 10-1 Kansas City Chiefs. They're in action today against the Las Vegas Raiders. So they just got their running back, Isaiah Pacheco, back from injured reserve. Do you see Kareem Hunt still playing a big role in the offense?
Yeah, I do. Hunt has played well. They picked him up right after Pacheco went down just earlier this season. That was like week 2. I think it makes sense to use both of them. Plus, the Chiefs are so low on playmakers. They've lost their 2 starting receivers. I mean, Hollywood Brown hasn't even played this year. Rasheed Rice was injured in, week 4? Anyway, you know, it's incredible that they keep winning, though. I'm not ready to say they're going to win a third straight Super Bowl just because Pacheco comes back. But in any case, Chiefs versus Raiders, 3 p.m. today. We also have college football today. This is rivalry week. So we've got Georgia Tech versus Georgia today, Ole Miss versus Mississippi State. Tomorrow, we got more rivalry games in college football. We've got Michigan, Ohio State, which is always a big one. Michigan, though, is not as good this year. We got the Iron Bowl, Auburn, Alabama. We've got several ranked matchups as well. Clemson, South Carolina, Texas A&M, an old rivalry that is going to now be in the SEC. And Iowa State versus Kansas State. This is the last regular season weekend in college football.
That's a lot of entertainment, and that's passion.
That is passion. You get those fan bases behind them, especially that Michigan-Ohio State game. No matter what their records are, you're going to have like 100,000 fans packed there, and that's going to be probably still the #1 watched matchup, I would guess, tomorrow.
But back to KC, I mean, Hollywood Brown, last time I checked, he's still out. So is Pacheco being in? And that's a big deal, right?
Yeah, you know, they were so low on playmakers there. You know, they went out and they at least traded for another receiver to, help fill the void. They drafted a first-round pick on a wide receiver. So they've got some people, but they don't have Rasheed Rice and Hollywood Brown. They're 2 starting receivers that they thought they would have this year. Somehow, like I said, they're still 10-1. They're not dominating. They're winning very close games, but their 10-1 is 10-1.
Hey. Defending champs, right? So they got a lot of work cut out for him. Now let's shift gears to women's college volleyball right now. We got some news to break. There's a lawsuit seeking to prevent an alleged transgender player from San Jose State from playing in this week's conference tournament, but that's been rejected. So what happened?
You know, the latest there is that Boise State, which is one of those 5 teams that forfeited their games earlier against San Jose State, said they were forfeiting against them again now in the conference tournament. So San Jose State now advances to the finals of the Mountain West tournament finals. Now, Boise State already forfeited twice against them earlier this year. They then beat Utah State in the first round on Wednesday to set up the match against San Jose State before announcing this forfeiture. Now, their athletic department released a statement that said in part, quote, The girls, should not have to forego this opportunity while waiting for a more thoughtful and better system that serves all athletes. Now, it's one thing to forfeit in the regular season, but this is the conference tournament. If you win this tournament, you go to the NCAA tournament to play for the national championship. So the stakes are higher, hence the lawsuit here. And I want to stress that this alleged transgender player has not commented on their gender publicly, but also keep in mind this lawsuit was brought by 10 plaintiffs, mostly players, across 4 different schools. One of them is actually this alleged transgender's own teammate on San Jose State, a co-captain of their own team, as well as a former assistant coach there. So it's been quite a divisive issue.
Wow, yeah, and these athletes pour their lives into this.
I know, you work your whole life to try to play in the NCAA tournament for a national championship, and they're willing to say, we're not going to do it for this reason.
Wow, all right, Dave, before we let you go, any advice for the fantasy footballers?
I'm in a couple of leagues myself. This is a tough time of year because we come to the end of the season and sometimes teams are resting their players, resting their starters. Thankfully, we're not there yet, but if you've got like Lamar Jackson, who's maybe one of the best players, you're looking at week 14 next week, which is usually the start of the playoffs, and you're like, well, he's not going to be playing because they've got a bye week. So this is a time you want to make sure you've got good bench players if you've got at least your team into the playoffs. So, of course, that's my advice for my own team, Every team needs to have a good bench. This is very important for it right now, though.
Excellent, Dave. I'm excited. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Kevin.
And Paris's Notre Dame Cathedral will reopen its doors next week. President Emmanuel Macron was one of the first to catch a glimpse of the newly renovated cathedral this morning.
Vous avez été les alchimistes du chantier.
You have transformed ashes into art.
Transformé le charbon en art, si je puis dire.
Macron appeared impressed by the spectacular light pouring into the nave after the cathedral's windows were renewed. It has been 5.5 years since the fire gutted the Gothic masterpiece. Major reconstruction works have restored the 12th century cathedral to its past glory, including its spire, rib vaulting, flying buttresses, stained glass windows, and carved stone gargoyles. The oak roof is built with wood taken from centuries-old trees. An opening ceremony is planned for the evening of December 7th. And during the 5 years of Notre Dame restoration, construction workers made surprising discoveries on the cathedral. And one of these is that many statues were in fact full of color. 1 week before Notre Dame's reopening to the public, an exhibition opened at Paris Middle Age Museum. NTD's international correspondent David Vives reports from Paris.
The Cluny Museum in Paris, dedicated to the Middle Ages, is a place where some of the cathedral sculptures were restored. After the Notre Dame fire in 2019, the museum received pieces of smashed sculpture. Restorers then began a meticulous process of piecing the fragments together like solving a puzzle to determine their original forms and placements. The exhibition Making Stone Speak showcases the work and findings of the cathedral's restorers. One remarkable discovery was a decorated wall buried in the central of the cathedral. When the center of the cathedral. When the spire collapsed, it opened a vault underneath the cathedral, revealing this wall.
We see here elements found on the structure of the jubé that used to separate the priest from worshippers. All those roses, beautiful designed plants, scenes that tell the story of Christ's passion until he resurrected.
Bernie notes that one of the most astonishing findings was the realization that many parts of the cathedral were once vibrantly colored.
Here we see 2 angels on either side, blowing trumpets and raising the dead. And here we see blue on the angel, or red or green on these robes. And these traces of color are sufficient for the restorers to have been able to reconstitute the entire polychromy of the statues.
Many statues have been recreated for the cathedral, but the original fragments of the Gallery of Kings are preserved in the museum. These statues too were once vividly painted, though time and weather caused the gold ornaments and colors to fade. While the discovery is fascinating, Bernie says it's not entirely surprising, since many medieval monuments and statues were painted.
We used pigments that were rare as gold or lapis lazuli, which comes from Afghanistan, is ground and used to make overseas blue an unparalleled brilliant blue.
Bernie explains that these expensive pigments symbolize a significant commitment by the French monarchy at the time.
En quelque sorte, puisque tout l'enjeu pour le fidèle, pour le pèlerin.
The whole point during the Middle Ages was to allow Christians to connect and bond with the statues presented before them. The statues reflected the divine, which has come down to earth and incarnated in stone. And so it's all the more important to see these colors, to realize that what's important is to follow their path.
The Notre Dame Cathedral will reopen to the public on December 7th. David Vives, NTD News, Paris.
Just remarkable. Skiers at Germany's highest mountain, Zugspitze, are overjoyed today as slopes officially opened for the 2024 ski season. The roughly 20 inches of snow on the slopes is mostly from reserves kept from snowfall last spring, but for skiers, it doesn't really matter, though, where the snow comes from, as long as they can ski on it.
Been looking forward to this day all summer.
As always, getting up was a pain. It was better than expected. But up here, it's like always. It's indescribable. It's just beautiful. It's just the air, the weather today. It's marvelous.
Yes, it's really cool. And that there's not so much going on and the weather is great. It's just a shame that not all the slopes are open. But look, it'll be great.
We don't have any snowmaking infrastructure up here, which means we simply count on the natural snow we get from above through the depots that we build. But we also have a pedestrian rate of 50% up here in winter and over 75% during the holidays. This means we are not entirely dependent on the ski slopes and snow conditions. We have a wide range of hiking trails, toboggan runs, exhibitions, and guided tours.
For round-the-clock original news coverage, watch us live at ntd.com/live or download our NTD app. If you have any feedback, please email us, and NTD wishes you and your family a happy holiday weekend.